Now it's time to review the major developments with our special guests. I'm currently joined by international lawyer and political commentator Ilham Ahmedov. Hey Ilham, glad to have you with us. Azerbaijan and Armenia are at loggerhead with each other concerning the Article 9 of the ceasefire deal, in particular in regards to the provision related to the Zangazur Corridor. How do you think the Article 9 should be interpreted?
Well, it's very interesting you mentioned Article 9, and absolutely right, because Article 9 is a foundation of the whole unblocking of communications business, and it's a foundation of the Zangazur project. So we need to go back to Article 9, we need to unpack it. I know it has been done on numerous occasions in the course of last year and a half, but it should be done for the sake of clarity, and clarity is key for us to understand the gist of the whole subject. So Article 9 says that all communication connections, transport, economic connections must be unblocked. And it also says, very importantly, that Republic of Armenia is obligated to guarantee the unobstructed movement of persons, goods, cargo, and there must be a connection from the Western Azerbaijan to Nakhchivan. So that's what it says. And it says that new connections could be built and older ones could be revitalized. So we have the content, and on the basis of content, we could make our own conclusions. So the primary design, the original intent behind Article 9 was to ensure that Azerbaijan's western territories are connected to Nakhchivan. It was included in the Trilateral statement on the insistence of Azerbaijan. It's an Azerbaijani project, and the main reason behind is to ensure that isolation of Nakhchivan is over. That's the main aim behind Article 9. Yet it does say all communication connections must be unblocked, not just Nakhchivan one, but it specifically mentions that western part of Azerbaijan and Nakhchivan must be reconnected. So it is the foundational tenet of Azerbaijani claim for the overland passage connecting Nakhchivan with the western Azerbaijan. So that's a main point of it. Yes, it doesn't use the term corridor. You cannot find the term corridor in this document, and in fact you cannot find the term corridor in any trilateral document. But whether you call it corridor or not, what matters a great deal is the substance. And what is substance? So this connection, this overland passage, must be unobstructed, so unimpeded access must be guaranteed. And secondly, not Armenian forces, but Russian border guard of the Federal Security Services must guarantee, must provide the security. So that's the second element. And there should be no checkpoints or minimum checkpoints. That's effectively speaking Azerbaijani demand, and that's what we call corridor. So whether you call it corridor or not, that's the gist of it. So that's the original design behind Article 9, and I think that responds to your question.
What is the main objection of Armenia and how it should be dealt with?
Well, an Armenian objection must be viewed throughout stages. Initially, they were saying that why on earth Azerbaijan is insisting on this so-called, from their language I mean, Zangazur Corridor. For example, there's one Yerevan, Javan and Kazakh communication route should also be rebuilt. There's nothing against that particular route, but the logic of Article 9 is that the shortest route connecting Western Azerbaijan with Nakhchivan must be put in place. So that's first thing. The priority, the centrality of the Zangazur Corridor must be maintained. So this is a key thing to bear in mind. But the second Armenian objection, when they realized that the centrality of Zangazur Corridor must be guaranteed, must be provided, they decided to come to the conclusion and to say that that they have some concerns because of extraterritoriality. In fact, I think the main Armenian concern is extraterritoriality angst. Because they are saying that there is a significant portion of Armenian territory, the Syunik province, which is ancient Zangazur land, historic Azerbaijani land, and they will lose their control over this piece of land. That's their main concern because, as you know, according to Article 9, according to that provision, Russian border guard services will be providing the security services there. They will be providing security of that portion of the land. So, and they are saying that we lose our control and our sovereignty will be challenged or will be curbed. Some Armenians are actually saying that they lost Karabakh during the Second Karabakh War, and now they're losing the half of Armenia because of this Zangazur Corridor, because they're saying that Azerbaijani aim behind the Zangazur Corridor is not just the corridor itself, but also whole southern Armenia. Of course, it's totally unsubstantiated, and it cannot be taken into account seriously. So that's the main Armenian concern. The Armenian concern is about losing control over the territory. But the fact of the matter is that Article 9 is very clear about the terms. It must be unobstructed, there must be minimum checkpoints, and also there shouldn't be Armenian forces looking after security. And those things must be provided, and Azerbaijan has been doing its level best to ensure that this particular objective is achieved.
How do you see the latest implications of the latest developments within Brussels and Moscow format for the purposes of Zangazur project?
I believe you're referring to the 22nd May meeting, Trilateral meeting, and also the last meeting on the 3rd of June in Moscow, the meeting of the Commission on the unblocking of communications. My feeling is that the result on the whole is positive, it's plausible, because all of those meetings and the documents, for example, the 22nd May meeting and the post-meeting statement had a large section about connectivity and Nakhchivan. The overland passage connecting Nakhchivan with mainland Azerbaijan was there as a central element. Those documents are very important because according to 22nd May, post-meeting statement, Azerbaijan and Armenia have agreed on certain principles governing the transit. It's related to customs, land fees. We do not exactly know what those agreements are, but we know that agreement has been achieved, and that matters a great deal. The same logic could be found in the meeting which took place in Moscow on 3rd of June. And recently, the Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov was in Yerevan, and he said that Armenian sovereignty concerns are to be taken into account, but the regime of the passage, which we call corridor, they don't like the term, will be very simplified. So effectively speaking, my feeling is that the overall impact of the developments going to lead to the following conclusion. We may not call it corridor, it's perfectly all right, but in substance, we're going to achieve something which will be akin to corridor, which means that there will be minimum checkpoints, that's absolutely vital, unobstructed movement, and that will guarantee the connection of Azerbaijan with Western Azerbaijani territories with Nakhchivan, and we will achieve our main objective. Azerbaijan has been doing absolutely sterling job over the past year and a half. For example, as you know, this substantial segment of the road has been already built, and the next year it is expected that the Azerbaijani segment of the Zangazur project will be operational, and we have agreed with on numerous things, and I think that the future looks very plausible. Of course, there will be lots of impediments, lots of stumbling blocks, lots of misunderstandings, but the will of the government of Azerbaijan is there, and the political climate is favoring Azerbaijan, and I think the consequences are going to be in our favor.
Great insights as always, Orhan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us, and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.